Capital A, the parent company of the Malaysian airline AirAsia, has unveiled plans to expand its footprint in Saudi Arabia, marking a key milestone in the group's Middle East growth strategy. The move includes new routes to Riyadh and Dammam and more flights to Jeddah from KL. The airline also eyeing direct connections from Bangkok and Jakarta to Riyadh as it aims to strengthen air connectivity between the Middle East and the ASEAN region. But the expansion, of course, goes beyond aviation. Capital A, much more diversified now, intends to roll out its logistics, maintenance and travel tech services in the kingdom as well. Let's unpack it. Tony Fernandes is live for us in, where are you, Tony? Tell us. He's the CEO of Capital A Group, joining us now in Bangkok. In Bangkok. Good to have you, sir. Really appreciate you coming on. So, look, you don't need to tell me or my viewers the strategic and commercial rationale, but walk me through it. Why bet big on Saudi Arabia right now?
Well, I think, we had a very tough 5 years. We kind of got out of it somehow. We've now got 90% of our fleet flying. We've rebuilt our network in Southeast Asia and Asia. We're now flying 23 destinations in China and 20 in India, apart from ASEAN. And we started looking at Central Asia. We've had a very good experience in Kazakhstan. And the Middle East, we've generally been focused on religious tourism. But we see the amazing diversification, the amazing investment being put into the tourism industry in Saudi Arabia and other parts of the Middle East. And we thought it's time that AirAsia starts looking at the Middle East, and the phenomenal growth opportunities for us and our other businesses in Capital A seemed very exciting.
Tony, I mentioned that, of course, Capital A is much more diversified now, but let's focus on aviation specifically. When I think of aviation in the Middle East, I think of two things. Number one, it's well capitalized. And number two, of course, we're seeing increased competition in this space as well. So what's your edge?
Well, I think we have the most diverse network in Asia and Southeast Asia. So number one, we provide a tremendous gateway for people in the Middle East to see Asia. Number two, we are the largest low-cost airline, and while most of the airlines in the Middle East are generally full service, there isn't a lot of connectivity to Southeast Asia. So it's tremendous for us that we can open up our network to the Middle East now, and that gives us an advantage. Secondly, we're the lowest cost airline in the world. We've won the world's best low-cost airline 15 times in a row. So we think we have potential of growing a big market in the Middle East, and especially Saudi Arabia.
Are you courting Saudi investment capital, or are you going in as a standalone operator?
Well, we're going in as a standalone operator, but obviously, we've always looking at capital. We're now restructuring. As I said, we survived COVID. We're recapitalizing. We're restructuring the company. Capital A will exist without the airline group, and the airline group will list by itself. But my journey into the Middle East has primarily been driven by, I think, we've always been pioneers in looking at new markets, and we think what's happening in Saudi Arabia and the rest of the Middle East gives us a huge opportunity to educate people in Southeast Asia and Asia what is in Saudi Arabia. It really blew me away. I hadn't been to Saudi Arabia for many, many years, and the energy, the drive, and the sheer confidence of what they're building, and actually what I saw in the Red Sea was quite spectacular.
Is it reasonable to expect that perhaps at some point in the future we could see a Saudi investment in Capital A?
I think that's premature to talk about at the moment, but never say never. We'll have to see. And I think the other exciting thing about Saudi Arabia is it's 5-6 hours away from Europe, which enables us to really potentially use Saudi Arabia as a hub into Europe, which is also a very, very enticing part. And of course, this can be replicated with logistics as well.
You've also been talking with Saudi officials, as I understand it, about potential strategic partnerships in airline connectivity. Of course, we have Saudia, Riyadh Air, Flynas, all operating out of the kingdom. What are those partnerships going to look like, and what will eventually get you to what I understand is the target, which is nearly 1 million passengers on the KL Riyadh route by next year?
Yeah, I think without any partnerships, we will get there. And in fact, over the next 5 years, we think we can bring as many as 7 million. AirAsia, 23 years ago, we only carried 200,000 passengers, and we now carry 90 million. We think the potential of bringing Southeast Asian, and even as far as Australia, China, Japan, Koreans into Saudi Arabia is huge. So I think the potential is very large without any deals. Having gone to Riyadh and met the Ministry of Investment, and they told me the landscape, then I think there's even more potential to tie up with some of the low-cost airlines there, potentially some of the full-service airlines. As we kind of go out of our normal area of just going point to point, we're now building a fantastic network, and Riyadh and Saudi Arabia could be a very, very interesting connecting point for us in bringing people and moving people further away from Southeast Asia.
And just to expand on that point, of course, what we have seen from yourself and from Capital A over the last couple of years is a real effort to grow and diversify. And I'm curious what role the Middle East is going to play in the future focus for the group. Where else do you see opportunities to make inroads into the GCC beyond the aviation space?
Yeah, I mean, I think your program before me coming on was all about Trump and trade and geopolitics. I think we're a beneficiary of that. Obviously, we have a phenomenal network in logistics, and the Gulf is a big importer and exporter and also a transit point. So we see the Gulf playing a big part in building up our company Teleport, which has gone from 0 to number 1 in Southeast Asia in the space of 3 years. As we build a global footprint, we think Saudi Arabia can play a very big part in the logistics effort in Capital A, in moving goods to and fro from Asia to the rest of the world, and especially into the GCC area.